Hello, everybody, and welcome to another edition of Magic Mics, proudly sponsored by our Patreon supporters and CoolStuffInc.com, where you can find cool stuff in stock every day, and our co-sponsor CardHoarder.com, offering the best inventory prices and delivery of cards for Magic Online. I'm Evan Irwin, and we get started each week by saying hello to my two co-hosts, Erin Campbell.
Hey, everybody.
Reuben Bressler.
Wow, did it right the first time. So good.
That's right. Just, you didn't even know it. How
as
good.
As far as anyone listening
happen.
to the podcast is aware.
That's right. It's one take, and we did it. That's right. Fantastic. Well, we kick it off with our first pick in our giveaway. A $50 gift certificate to CoolStuffInc.com is up for grabs. Type !raffle in the chat for your chance to win. And subscribe first. You can even use Bezos Bucks to get 2 chances to win.
That's right.
Double chances.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Okay.
I think it took you a second to respond.
Question, my webcam broke, so I'm having to. It broke and I broke it, and so I'm having to use my laptop camera until my new camera comes in. So you now get to see part of my living room. So I apologize.
I was going to say.
It's a new angle. It's an all new angle. We're on
vacation. We're on staycation with Erin in Erin's living room as opposed to the usual.
It's a nice living room.
That's right.
Yeah, it's nice. I like it.
Thank you.
Very nice. All right. So this week officially began Commander Legends previews, and these cards, y'all. These cards.
There's something.
They just do so much.
Every card does everything, yeah.
And if at this point it's 8 to 10 mana plus, it doesn't whatever. It's just making you sandwiches. It's driving you down the street. It's filling out your forms for you. Like, it does whatever these spells want to do.
Yep.
It's crazy, and I'm just like, all right, I guess that's just what cards do now because it's too expensive for Legacy or Vintage, and we move on. Well, we've all chosen 3 cards we would like to talk about, and I will start off with, of course, from Kamigawa. They are working on finishing this cycle with Kodama of the East Tree, over on the east side of things.
That's right.
Kodama of the East Tree is 2 green, 4 generic mana for a rare legendary spirit. It's a 6/6 with reach, and whenever another permanent enters the battlefield under your control, if it wasn't put onto the battlefield with this ability, you may put a permanent card with equal or lesser converted mana cost from your hand onto the battlefield, and and it has partner, which means you can have 2 commanders if both have partner. So just free stuff being free for free's sake. It says permanent, anything that happens to be played. Planeswalkers, you just get 2. Creatures, you just get 2. And it's equal or less, so it's not like you have to have the exact same mana cost.
So let me get this straight. If I have Kodama of the East Tree in play and I play a land...
You can play another land.
I play another land. If I play Kodama of the East Tree and I play a 6-mana creature, I can just put... not even play. If I reanimate a 10-drop...
Yep.
For 1 black mana, I can put a permanent card. Jeepers, that's crazy.
Oh, we're definitely in Jeepers territory. This card, to be first of all, it's definitely felt mythic, but it's not mythic. This is just a rare. But okay, and I can just I just get double permanents forever. That's where we're at on Kodama trees.
Absolutely wild.
Yeah, the other Kodama trees, let's see here,
are not nearly as...
one of them had characters. Has Kodama had cards made?
Kodama of the North Tree.
Yeah, Kodama of the North Tree, South Tree, Center Tree.
And now East Tree.
And
so now we're waiting on the west side. We gotta see how they put it. We waited on the west side. That's right, from Kodama.
West side. Kodama knows how to party in the city.
Heyo.
But this was the one that they were spoiling when they said that they've had multiple legends with 5 words in the name, replacing one of the words. It had to be the Kodama here. Right. This one being... Kodama of the North Tree saw a good amount of tournament play. Center and South were not really as good. One of them had Soul Shift, I think.
Kodama of the North Tree was definitely in its
North
day.
Tree was very good.
Yeah. South Tree, no. South Tree, it was it's kind of cute. And Kodama of the Center Tree showed up in Saviors and... in Betrayers, and it was... There's no bueno. But, hey, I'll take all the Kodamas I can get.
Hey, it's great. Sure.
Fantastic. Let's move on here to Sphinx of the Does Frigging Everything. Sphinx of the Second Sun is a mythic. Is 2 blue and 6 generic mana. It's 8 mana, which means there's no holds barred. Here we go, y'all.
Yeah.
8 mana, 6/6 flyer. At the beginning of your post-combat main phase, you get an additional beginning phase after this phase. The beginning phase includes the untap, the upkeep, and the draw steps. You get all of those again. You basically get another turn after you play this creature.
Brian Kelly, the vintage mastermind, was talking about pairing this with Oath of Druids, because you oath into this, and then you're like, whoop!
And then you oath into this, you just take a turn, and then you oath again.
Yeah, it's just stupid.
Somehow, blue gets the 8 mana, like, God shines from above on you, and white is like, I got 2 mana equipment, I still have to pay another 4 mana to equip it to something to attack. Like, this is really sad, right? This is really sad.
I like the angle on this card in particular, because I feel like when we've seen Sphinxes or Sphinges or whatever the proper plural term is, I feel like we've either seen like the profile view, we've seen it be like at an even keel, or maybe we've seen like a shot from like the below. This is the first. I really like you're looking at the Sphinx from the top down. I think that's really cool.
It's very interesting.
Yeah.
I was just not prepared for what was going on here. They've only spoken about the beginning phase one time, and that was in Unsanctioned, I think.
Yeah. Sure.
Like when you would steal a phase from somebody or something, and they listed them out.
Right.
One of those cards. So yeah, it was this card. All right. And my last card, not quite as ridiculous and over the top, but I do really like what it's doing. Yes. I think it's really cool. Profane Transfusion is another mythic. This is a black mythic for 3 black and 6 generic mana. So 9 mana. Woo! It doesn't matter. Sorcery speed. 2 target players exchange life totals. You create an XX colorless horror artifact creature token where X is the difference between those players' life totals. That is just clever.
What a cool spell.
Yeah. I just love the cleverness.
To Phyrexia, and you're definitely seeing some Phyrexia in the flavor text when it talks about the perfection and the great work and flesh sculpting. And when you look at the characters, they look like they're from Phyrexian Unlife. You have like the white porcelain, and it appears to be an actual transfusion. I'm reminded of that scene from The Dark Knight Rises where Bane takes the tube and plugs it in, and poof, you get a blood transfusion. And so, and you got Vincent Prost. And when you get Vincent Prost, you want to do something creepy. And so, I love this art so much. I love anything Phyrexian related, and the effect is really cool too. Yeah,
getting a mirror universe effect is like not really great, but getting the XX, where you can sort of take all of the life from your Obero opponent or whatever. It's not just profane; it's also profane accessories.
Wow. You went so deep. Sometimes you gotta be careful. You can go too deep. And I agree. Look, and Granada in the chat has it right. Every single mythic rare equipment in Magic history, even if you don't count the Mirrodin swords, are better than Sephiric Greatsword.
You mean Sapphic Greatsword?
Sapphic?
I can't
totally read
with
that
this
as
thing.
Sapphic Greatsword, and lesbian Twitter
I think
lit
it's
up. Let me tell
Seraphic.
It's
Seraphic.
I just
it
can't.
It is Sapphic Greatsword.
You have to pay 6 mana for anything happens, and it's a mythic in your commander set. What are you doing?
Yeah.
Isn't there a new game? There's a Thirsty Sword lesbians game.
There's Thirsty Swords all over the place.
So this card is Thirsty Sword, Thirsty Greatsword lesbians.
Yeah.
It's the greatest sword ever. So all I know is I can't understand how you would have clearly you're like, no holds are barred. This is commander. We're going to go nuts. We're going to really show them what's what. And you give me a 2 mana mythic equipment that doesn't even auto equip to anything like you've been doing. No, you gotta pump the other 4 in before it does literally anything.
Yeah.
What was that?
Well, I was very animated in that.
Did you knock your microphone over?
No, but I almost did, and that was very exciting. All right, so
Reuben, ladies and gentlemen, and undecided.
Making this happen.
Are you good to go?
Absolutely. Erin, please, tell us about your cards.
So one of the other mechanics that's coming back with this set is Monarch, which is one that I particularly love. And Monarch in different colors. There's a really sweet blue one that makes me, my Monarch card of choice is always Queen Marchesa. And so if Marchesa was blue, I would absolutely play that card. But there is a Monarch card in red that really grabbed my attention. My first choice is going to be Emberwilde Captain. So Emberwilde Captain is 3 colorless and a red. It's a Djinn pirate with 4 power and 2 touch. toughness. When it ETBs, you become the monarch, which is great. And then whenever an opponent attacks you while you're the monarch, Emberwilde Captain deals damage to that player equal to the number of cards in hand. So I tend to play my Marchesa deck very pillow fort. I want to put up a lot of enchantments. I want you to leave me alone, and I just want to do my thing. And so this is exactly what I want to be doing in Mardu. I want to, if I don't have the monarch, this lets me get it back. And then this also puts up a little wall of sorts. Like, all right, leave me alone. Like, don't you don't want none of this. Like, don't do it. And the minute I saw this, I knew exactly where it was going.
This is a Jin pirate.
I love that combo.
A lot of pirates in
That's
this set, which
amazing.
makes me really happy because I had tried to build a Beckett Brass deck once, and I felt like I didn't have enough pirates to make it worthwhile. And there's a lot of good pirates in this set where I will probably make a Beckett Brass deck after this.
They're also having a lot of fun with the creature types in this set. They have there's a bunch of weird, combos. Like Jin Pirate is not even probably top 10 of the weirdest things that they've done.
It's true. There's salamander stuff going on that we
There's
found out about.
There's a million salamanders.
Which is ridiculous. But, you are a bold challenger, but flammable.
Yeah.
I like that. Very nice.
My second card is a card that I had originally saw in one of the leaks, and I didn't say anything because I'm not a total monster. So when it was finally previewed officially, it made me so happy. There are a lot of characters in this set that are getting cards that have only been talked about before in flavor text or in storylines, or that have only been alluded to, and now they're getting names and cards and a bit more story. And so I'm really excited for my second card, which is Liesa, Shroud of Dusk. Who, for those who don't know, she is the sister that Avacyn killed, if I understand the lore correctly. And then it was Sigarda, Bruna, and Gisela. So these were her sisters. So Liesa's 2 colorless, 2 white and a black. She's a legendary angel with 5 power, 5 toughness. Rather than pay 2 colorless for each previous time you've cast this spell from the command zone, you pay 2 life that many times. She has flying and lifelink, and then whenever any player casts a spell, they lose 2 life. And so this card actually kind of feeds itself. You have a 5/5 with lifelink. You can use it to fuel your attempts to bring her back, any spells you cast, and this is everybody. And so this is a really, really cool card, and I would love to find something to do with this.
Whenever a player casts a spell, they lose 2 life.
I did not put together that this was. I knew from one part of my brain.
Thank you.
And thanks to everybody. Well, my goodness, that's many.
Thank you so much. Yeah, this was the missing sister that we'd been waiting on for a really long time, and I had seen all sorts of theories as to what had happened to her or who she was, and so when I first saw this, I was like, oh my god, and I was really, really hyped.
Because I remember hearing that they were going to introduce the 4th sister, and then I saw this card and was like, oh, that's a cool angel. Nice effect. And I didn't put those 2 things together until you literally just said it. Yeah, this thing's super interesting. 5/5 flying lifelink is nothing to sneeze at, and anything that taxes anything that puts pressure on your opponent's life total outside of combat is well worth it.
Well, also just negates that sort of the valve, right? In that you slow down their commander by, okay, you got to pay a little bit more, Right. Well, you don't really have to pay more. That's okay, -4 life, 5 mana go, Like, okay, I'm going to gain 5 when I swing with the next turn. So, that alone is pretty awesome. All right.
And
lastly but not leastly,
this card has attracted a lot of controversy and has generated a lot of discussion since it was first previewed. My third card is Opposition Agent. Opposition Agent is 2 colorless and a black. It's a human rogue with flash, 3 power and 2 toughness. You control your opponents while they're searching their libraries. And it says while an opponent is searching their library, they exile each card they find. You may play those cards for as long as they remain exiled, and you can spend mana as though it were mana of any color to cast them. A lot of talk about this in older formats. Tutors run wild. You have Tinker and Demonic Tutor and Vampiric Tutor and Natural Order and Doomsday. Doomsday is a tier 1 deck in Vintage right now that has proven to be a little difficult to interact with. And so a lot of people are trying to find uses for this card, and I'm really enjoying the discussion. And, obviously in Commander, Commander is a deck that plays tutors, whether or not it's, as simple as like a Diabolic Tutor, whether or not it's like a Grim Tutor, what have you. A lot of fetching going on as well. And so,
I was just going to say,
this is the fetch land master right here.
This is a Stone Rain, right?
Well, I
it's not only a Stone Rain because you get the land.
Right.
You get to play the land.
It's a 3/2 Stone Rain that draws a card. Like this
this card's nuts.
I think we can do that, and I think that, true. I think if you're in Commander, there were some people on Commander that were like, well, if you're going to go for a fetch land, that's kind of a jerk move, but the card itself is a jerk move, so I don't know.
The whole card is there to troll the living crap out of you. So
this is like Notion Thief that costs less and does more in certain situations. It's like, I mean, this is just absurd.
Yeah, I'm really excited to see this. You know, I don't think it's enough against a Doomsday deck, but do I think it could supplement your plan? Absolutely. And so I'm really anxious to see what this does. And this is the most exciting card I've seen for Eternal formats in a little while. That
is a card that you now have to literally, like, in a lot of the older formats, most of what you're doing, you have to say, do they have it? Do they have the 3 mana?
Can I just play this and then play Scheming Symmetry?
You can play this. You can play Marilyn of the Morn Song that apparently blew up in price.
Sure.
Because at the beginning of each player's draw step, that player loses 3 life and goes and finds a card.
Library. Sure.
So
just
they can lose 3 life
out of the game. Yeah.
And you go get their best card that you'll play next turn.
Okay. All right.
Absolutely terrific. So the combos are there. That card just looks amazing. I love the look of it. I love the play from it. I think it's going to be really sweet. The blowouts are going to be like legendary. Legendary blowouts with this card.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Reuben, what you got?
Well, my first card, it reminds me of a story. I heard a joke once. Man goes to doctor. He says he's depressed. Says life seems harsh and cruel.
Oh, jeez.
Says he feels all alone in a threatening world where what lies ahead is vague and uncertain. Doctor says treatment is simple. Great clown Blim Comedic Genius is in town tonight. Go and see him. I should pick you up. Man bursts into town and says, but doctor, I am Comedic Genius. Blim Comedic Genius is a imp. It's a rare, again, like these... Whatever. So, Blim Comedic Genius is 2 colorless black-red for a 4/3 flying legendary creature imp. When Blim Comedic Genius deals combat damage to a player, that player gains control of target permanent you control. Then each player loses life and discards cards equal to the number of permanents they control but don't own.
Yeah.
So you just give them like Jinxed Idols and Demonic Pact. Ooh, Demonic Pact's a good one. There's the Treacherous. After you draw 3 cards, like you lose a life whenever you cast a spell. Treacherous Blessing is a good one to give away. Any aura. Like, you give your opponent the stab wound you've already cast on their creature. Like, it doesn't matter at that point. This card is great. Oh, my God.
I'm really excited for this for my Rakdos deck. I have a Rakdos the Showstopper deck that really leans on the entertaining part of Rakdos. You know, I play, like, Stunning Encore, and I play, Stunning Reversal, and then there's... Thrilling Encore, there we go. And so, you know, I play cards like that. You know, I play the captive audience. And so this fits in really, really nicely with that. You know, even though, I mean, it is good, but it still just does neat things for the table. And so at the very least, you can be like, you know, are you entertained?
Yeah. I mean, it also helps fight against, you know, control magic effects. You know, Rise of the Dark Realms is a thing that sees play, and so you can get people with that. I mean, it's well positioned as just a card to play. It's got 4 power on a 4 mana flyer. Like, all of the things are very good.
I mean, it's, you know, if you want to try it in Grixis, there's always Illusions of Grandeur. Like, it's it's just right there. Just take
go
it.
Necro. We can go donate.
Do not know what that card does. Just so you know.
Oh my
we can go donate like it's 1997.
That's right.
That's great.
Back in the day.
My next card is. They said that they were going to give us a new Magus, the green sorcery Magus, and they did not disappoint. Magus of the Order is the callback to Natural Order. 2 colorless green for a 3/3 human wizard. Pay a green and tap and sacrifice Magus of the Order and another green creature. Search your library for a green creature. Put it onto the battlefield, then shuffle your library. I mean, what more can you say? Natural Order is a playable card. Magus of the Order is great.
This one, like, is National War on the reserve list? Is that right?
Maybe.
It probably.
We can look it up.
No, it is not. Thank God. They reprinted it in Eternal Masters, which is nice. But, you know, we now have it on a stick. That's fantastic. And this, like, completes, like, a super cycle. They did, like, 2 of these things.
Because we had Magus of the Will, Magus of the Wheel, Magus of Balance, and Magus of the blue one.
I appreciate how if you search for Magus, except for Magus of the Unseen, so whatever.
Yeah.
Generally, you're only going to see just the Magus creatures that mirror the
Magus
the
means something at this point in Magic, so that's nice that they've reserved that word, like you do for Spectre or like you do for Lotus or any of that kind of stuff.
Exactly. We'll be looking for our Maguses in the future. Cool, and finally?
Yeah, the last one is going to be a Pauper All-Star, I think, right?
Ooh, it's possible.
I've been hearing rumblings that people in Pauper are looking for something new to cast out of their Tron decks, and Maelstrom Colossus certainly fits the bill. 8 colorless mana for a 7/7 common golem with Cascade, which says when you cast this spell, exile cards from the top of your library until you exile a non-land card that costs less. You may cast it without paying its mana cost. Put the exiled cards on the bottom of your library in a random order. So right now we're playing Ulamog's Crusher, I assume, in our Pauper Tron decks, which has Annihilator and also just dies to 2-mana removal spells immediately. Whereas Maelstrom Colossus, will cascade into a Prophetic Prism or into
whatever.
Something that gains 2 life, like gets some value, and who cares if you have Annihilator? We're still a Tron deck. We're still the control deck, so it doesn't really matter how we kill you. It's just so 7/7 is perfectly fine.
I'm both. I'm glad they did not make this 7 mana. Like having this be turn 3, got your Tron.
Would be way
congratulations
too good.
Would be ridiculous.
See, I don't really have any thoughts on this card, but I'm just so happy to see Cascade again. Living End was my first modern deck, and so I loved cascading into Living End, and I had to laugh because Elia the Veil, if you're not following her on Twitter, you should be.
Yeah.
She had made a tweet a couple weeks ago that was like, Gavin, what do I got to do for Cascade to come back? And then he literally tags her. He's like, hello. And so we have quite a few Cascade cards. We have a Naturalize with Cascade, and we have some really, really neat toys. And so I'm a Counterspell with Cascade.
The Counterspell with Cascade, I was really looking forward to.
They picked the perfect set to put him in.
Yeah.
Cascade, every tournament player hates Cascade. They freaking hate it. It is just spin the wheel, and now we have no idea what we're going to get. Tournament players hate that more than anything. So, seeing them kind of live through Cascade once was hard, as it were. But this is the environment you want it to be. The Commander is perfect for Cascade. Yes, it's over the top. Yes, it's silly. But who cares? We're just having fun. And that, to me, is brilliant.
Yeah, I just want to Cascade into a Muldrifter. I feel like that's all I want to do with my life.
That's all. It's fine. Well, one of the things they are celebrating is that they have reprinted 3 Visits. 3 Visits was from Portal 3 Kingdoms, pushing over $100 for this uncommon card. It is, and they reprinted it. And they reprinted it at uncommon. Wizards could have made this rare. They could have made this mythic rare. Yes, it would have been silly and dumb. We would have made fun of them for it, but they still could have done it.
Okay.
But 3 Visits is an uncommon. It is a green and generic mana for a sorcery that searches your library for a forest card, puts that card onto the battlefield, note untapped, and then you shuffle your library, and that's what it does. And it's real cool, it's real sweet, it's real simple, but it's also very hard to get a hold of. So those who are looking for that other, just give me one more rampant growth type of effect, this is perfect, but it was so hard to get a hold of. Now it's going to be affordable for anybody who wants it. I mean, look at Grim Tutor. Grim Tutor is what, $20?
Yep.
That's the price of a Grim Tutor.
Down from 150 or whatever it was. Exactly. They learned originally, I think, from Imperial Recruiter, where they said these Portal 3 Kingdoms starter, Portal Second Age, and Portal cards are not worth as much as the market should bear, but instead only priced because of the low quantity. And so they said, we can't make it the Chase Rare anymore. So they did the Grim Tutor, they did 3 Visits. We'll get a couple more out like that, I think.
Which is good, because Imperial Recruiter right now is about $15, $16 for the Double Masters version. And that's fantastic. That's
it was right where it needs $215.
Exactly. It was over $200 easy, $250 at one point, I think, and Portal 3 Kingdoms now is about $117.
Right.
So that to me all kind of shakes out, where you have these cards that, again, they did not have to print this at Uncommon, but they did. And
I'm a little surprised that this got printed at Uncommon,
yeah, I mean, Wizards had some restraint, y'all.
We'll take it.
It's news. All right, let's move on here to Gather the Townsfolk. There is an event this Sunday. I want everybody to go because it's awesome. And because I got to rock some petty, you can talk about it in the pre-show if you want to check it out.
Yeah, there was some petty.
All I know is this Sunday, over $5,000 in store credit prizes from all over, from cool stuff at $1,500, Ultra Pro. You got Star City, Channel Fireball, Pastimes. You got Full Grip Games and Card Titan. You got other judges who are personally donating like dozens of judge foils to be given away.
Yeah, so this is in honor of Angela Chandler, who was a beloved judge that recently passed away from cancer. This is a benefit tournament to help raise money for her children who are left behind. And so this is a standard tournament. There's only 33 people signed up for this. What? With a $10 entry fee?
Presently.
Y'all
We
need to
can do
fix
better
that.
than that, y'all. There's
and
1,000
like I
people
said,
max.
You're looking at $1,500 from Cool Stuff Inc., $1,200 from Ultra Pro, $1,250 from Star City Games, $1,000 from Channel Fireball, multiple items and money and store credit from Pastimes, Full Grip Games, Card Titans. So if you want to play Standard on Arena and you want to help a really good cause, this is where you want to be. This looks incredible.
Yeah, this is you just can't lose. Like, this is the point where they have so many prizes, they have so many winners. It's going to be difficult not to get something. Particularly, like if we need to show up. If it's not nothing else for this, for this woman's family. Like, she was part of Magic, and we need to help out when we can. And this is the way we do so.
And all you need to enter this tournament is a direct challenge ID, a verified Discord account, and the $10 entry fee. You've got 85 hours to enter. I think this is a slam dunk. I mean, the value is here. It's a good cause. You're going to be playing Arena this weekend anyway. Like, come on.
Just jump in. All right. So, I told you so. I don't like to say, I do like to say, I love to say this. I told you so. I told you so. There's no way Arena on mobile is happening in 2020. And lo and behold, it's not happening in 2020. It's not a big deal.
Did you guys have a pie bet over this?
There was a pie bet
with multiple viewers who I hope
with like 4 or 5 viewers had pie bets.
Because if I had been wrong and they had released it in December or whatever, I'd have taken the pie. I'd let you. I was shown that. I filmed that for you as a separate thing. You got to see it. So now, if you were to lose that pie bet, as many people had bet me on, I would expect a short video of you taking a pie in the face. And people are like, shaving cream's okay, man. I don't care if it's a pie crust and something's in the pie crust and you smash it on your face. You got pie. Exactly. That's how it works.
If you've got a tin and some shaving cream, that's all you need. You don't need to have graham crackers. You don't need to get mom to teach you how to make biscuit dough. Like, don't worry about all that stuff. Just get that cream in your face and send it to us. We'll probably broadcast it here. If we can manage that technologically,
if we can try. But look, all I know is the last build of Magic Arena was a hot mess. It was such a hot mess they had to pull the F&M event from the client because it was so buggy. It just bugged all out. It was a hot mess, and so I couldn't use my unsanctioned lands anymore because they also bugged out the program.
Oh, good.
I was drawing my sleeves. It was crazy. And so in the middle of it was like, we're not doing mobile this year. And it's like, I'm glad. Could we get our crap together a little bit? Because that last build was pretty rough,
and
y'all.
Meanwhile, Magic Online ran, 2 concurrent, eternal weekends with 1,500 and 1,000 people and had no hiccups. Look at God.
Yeah, now the rubber band is on the other claw. Look at who's getting made fun of. Who's the good online client now?
Yeah, who shows them? Tell you what. Well, I know there's lots of programmers who are very happy about that, so less sweat, less crunch. There was a Hasbro call this week about their third quarter earnings. Of course, these happen every quarter. And they're always fascinating because you get to really see Papa Hasbro, the big corporate machine, and what they sort of view as their assets and how much they're going to get out of them as they talk about Wizards and how Wizards has very lore-driven, story-driven products and that they've weaved those in. They're very happy. There's double-digit growth, they say. They say that Core 2021 is the best-selling core set of all time. They did the same thing with Ikoria, and that's good news. That's great, right? I mean, in the meantime, we're squeezing the whales for that secret lair cash, and the products that they're making are selling, and all the cards are better than they've ever been.
Now, you were mentioning that you were surprised by the Ikoria stat. Because Dominaria was so dominant.
And War of the Spark. I mean, both of those were such monster releases. I mean, crazy monsters. So my thinking is, when you're in these types of calls, and you're also going to think about it from a marketing perspective, you got to figure out what you want to say. And when you say things like best selling, you may be talking about the total amount of money made, because now there's collector boosters where there were not. Versus saying like this was the most booster boxes sold ever of it, and they didn't say that.
Sherlock Irwin is on the case. I like it.
I got you. I understand what's happening in that business.
Because if there were collector boosters of Dominaria, they would have flown off the shelves.
Yes, they would have totally crushed. And I'm excited when we go back to Dominaria for one of those very reasons.
Yeah.
But again, I mean, that's good news. This is great news. It's not like we're like Magic's hurting or dying, regardless of what you may hear on the internet. But it's been doing well, and Cell's been doing okay.
Something from the call that surprised me a little bit is that esports is a part of Hasbro's brand blueprint, which, first of all, why? Why is it a part of their planned blueprint? They don't really make esports, and two, like when? Like,
I mean,
what is your plan?
Who knows, dude? I don't.
Competitive Battleship? What's going on? Like, I don't buy it. I'm not sure I buy esports as part of the big overarching plan.
Right. Now, he did note that Magic's revenue is up double digits so far in 2020 compared to 2019. So that's a thing. And that they also noted that tabletop sales still exceed digital sales, and that digital arena releases have a noticeable positive impact on tabletop sales.
Okay. Cool.
Which is and you've seen this happen a lot where and this happens in board games where when you release the video game version of a board game, that board game starts selling. Like it happens every time.
It happened with Ascension for sure. Like once you started being able to play Ascension online, people like more boxes of Ascension got sold.
That's right, and that's why you'll see, at least these days, if you have a really cool board game that you play, there's probably an online or a mobile app version of it.
Yep. Or at least Tabletop
Steam,
Simulator.
or at least Steam or something, And Tabletop Simulator is like level 0 for me.
Well, yeah.
All right.
Okay, Mr. High and Mighty.
Hey, man, I'm just saying. Like, in terms of like digital tabletop, whatever, it's fine. Erin, what happened on Eternal Weekend?
Oh man,
what did they do?
So Eternal Weekend was comprised of 3 different events, just like the Legacy version and the Vintage version, and everything was fine until the last event. And the last event boiled down to, I think it was the last event, but it boiled down to Beleren, that's his Magic Online name. I think that's him on Twitter as well, and somebody else, and they essentially made an agreement where the one guy was going to split to Beleren in exchange for Beleren promoting his stream and saying like what a good guy he was. And so it didn't come out initially. Like Beleren wins, he says how happy he is, the guy congratulates him, which is part of their deal, and then these screenshots start coming out. Apparently his opponent was streaming at the time and was trying really hard to not have this be on stream, and so they were you could see like the Twitter DMs happening, and you could see the moment on stream, and people were like, wait a minute, like you offered something, like this is bribery going on here. And so eventually the cat was out of the bag. It made it to Reddit. It made it to Twitter. There was all sorts of talk about how, Magic Online used to do better with pairings, that this wasn't necessarily an issue. And, you had judges chiming in where they were like, if this was a paper event, like we would be getting rid of this guy. And so Beleren hasn't said anything on Twitter since then. I'm under the impression that Wizards is investigating this, but they, of course, don't comment on that. And so it'll be really interesting to see what happens next. But a lot of people this was really disappointing because, Eternal Weekend is one of those events that has a certain spirit to it, and it really brings out a different player base. And it's kind of like when that incident happened with Athena and the old school guy. Like, we'd like to think we're better than this, and so we'd like to think that we're playing with, like, adults and that, it's not about this. No one plays Vintage for the prizes. You play it because you love the format. And so to see this happen does feel like a bit of a blemish. And so I'm hoping that they do get to the bottom of what otherwise was a successful weekend.
I mean, to be fair, it does seem like if there is a controversy in the Vintage format, the most adult, mature-wise, like grown-up format that has actual adults with jobs and lives, it seems as if staying off of social media, first of all, smart, letting the process play out. Second of all, smart. Third of all, not like refuting, not sending out an underground dojo keyboard cage fighters screed. You know what I mean? So like, let the process play out. Obviously, this was a huge blunder for the player guilty of the infraction, and it sucks. But you know, among cheating controversies, this one is pretty tame and will probably be just let.
Right. This is the part where you say, if you're going to cheat, you should probably ask if the other person just so happens to be streaming.
Are you live
their
on
DMs
television right now?
Right now, yes. Because you tell me you have an audience watching us do this. Okay, great. Speaking of audiences watching things, Erin got featured a little bit on a pretty awesome video.
So if you Magic Man Sam Ristic Studies is back with a new video called Season of the Witch, and you may recognize one of the voices doing some narrating in that video. Sam approached me a couple weeks ago. He slid in my DMs and he was like, "Hey Erin, I have this paid opportunity for you. I've been working on this script, and every time I hear it, I read it, I hear your voice. Would you like to work with me?" And so I was like, absolutely. He sent me 6 different quotes that he wanted me to read. I gave him different takes of the quotes. He loved them all, and he was very complimentary towards me on Twitter. And then it came out, and I think it's sitting at 50,000 views in less than a week.
57,000 so far.
Yeah, so it was really nice. I've gotten quite a few new Twitter followers from it, and so it's definitely just something to check off your bucket list of like, I got to work with Ristic Studies. Like, that's really cool.
It was very well voiceovered. Well done. I would suggest recording in your closet, though.
I've already come out of the closet once. I can't do it.
I understand, but I am
gonna make her do it again. Jesus.
I am constantly getting crap from my co-hosts for living and recording in my closet. But I'm telling you, you need that interior wall. You need the separation from your window.
You need that Harry Potter feel when you're under the stairs.
Get more voiceover opportunities. I will be sure to tighten it up.
Erin's recording with a USB mic on a glass tabletop.
Now listen, this is she's beauty recording. Right here. Okay, this has gotten me through some tough times.
Listen, Yeti, sponsor us. We have great podcasting mics.
We do have great podcasting mics.
But if you want professional quality voiceover, you got to not record in a hall of mirrors.
Wow. That sounds like some shades.
It was really well done, and I'm glad. And you were so passionate about the project that you made that you were like, oh, I'm so nervous. I'm going to do like 80,000 takes, which is way more work than I put into anything ever, including voiceover.
Yeah, because I had sent him an email.
Very pleased.
He didn't give me any real instruction. He was like, here's what I want you to read. Do your thing. And so I was and so I gave him 3 takes of each, and I had left the door open. I said, please let me know if you want me to re-record anything else. And then I woke up the next morning and he was like, they're perfect, don't change a thing. And I was just like, Sam's a quality person, so for the fact that he felt good enough about me, it was just huge.
That is the dream as a producer. If they send you all the takes and they're all great, and you have to fight hard to choose which takes to use. Yeah. So well done.
Nice. I'll skip over the dunking of Azorius Yorion, even though it was total trash this past weekend.
27% win rates.
I don't think I even saw this deck.
That's the fill out the slip, go get lunch early type win rates right there.
Yeah.
Okay.
I do want to definitely send some well wishes to Sheldon Menery. There was a short video that was compiled for him. As I understand, it's the battle with cancer rages on.
I do want to say one thing that really kind of set me off a little bit, and I didn't want to say anything in the comment section, but if you see a video like this, if you see a video that is specifically made to make somebody feel better, specifically somebody who's dying, don't leave a comment that's like, I don't like you, but I hope you feel better. Like, somebody left that comment and it infuriated me. Like, that is not.
What are you doing?
That is not
what's
as nice
going on in
as
your
you
world?
think it is. Like, don't be better than that. Like, that's all I can say about that.
Or come in and believe in your hatred. No, okay, don't do that either. But no, on a YouTube video that is like get well soon, like read the room.
Yeah.
Right. I've got to know Sheldon personally for many, many years. Got to run into him like basically over my entire career. I've known and or interacted with Sheldon Menery at all these events. He's a fantastic guy, absolutely super smart, like one of the most respected people in Magic ever.
We can thank him for Commander.
Yeah.
And you can thank him for Commander. So if nothing else, right? Like what has he given you? An entire format.
If nothing else, we have the most popular casual format.
If
nothing else.
He did in the judge program. He was a level 5 judge. Remember when they went all the way up to 5? Like that was rare.
Retired as a 5. They laughingly referred to him as the level 6
basically,
after he left. Yeah.
No one's going to reach the Sheldon level because there's only one Sheldon and he's incredible. So obviously wish him a speedy recovery and I hope he's doing well. So let's move on here to the T. To the sweet. Someone just stepped right in it. There is a main character every day on Twitter, and you don't want to be it. No. Erin, I guess tell us about what happened here.
So there was a tournament that happened this past weekend that I believe it was the Rivals.
Yes.
Something.
Yeah, it was like the league play stuff they do.
And so Allie Warfield is on the Rivals League, and that is something that she would normally get to play in. However, she recently had surgery, and she had expressed some concern that, like, I'm really not feeling up to this. You know, I've seen other people be able to postpone their games. You know, I'm not able to postpone mine. Like, you know, what's going on here? And then she was eventually able to. And some eagle-eyed Twitter user decided that they were going to take a look at her Twitter feed and determine that she wasn't resting enough, or that she wasn't doing his version of resting. So he put on his clown shoes and he said, you know, am I seeing this correctly? Like, does this make sense to you? And he basically got dragged all over Twitter for it because, you know, that you can playing Among Us with your friends is not the same as being awake and alert for 7 or 8 rounds of competitive Magic. It's just not the same. And, you know, the fact that, you know, no one else really gets criticized for this, just you know, it was just a mess.
Yeah, and it got to the point that even the official Wizards of the Coast Twitter came in and dunked.
Yeah, when Wizards, you know, _Magic comes in for the elbow, like you're done. You're done, buddy.
Yeah, it was just unnecessary. It was none of your business, and it was just ridiculous.
Yeah, don't do that, okay? Or you too will be the main character of Twitter for the day, and no one wants that.
And then he left the tweet up. Most people would take it out and be like,
you gotta say he took that L like a man. Just right in the jaw right there.
Yeah.
So for something far more positive, there was a Blogatog post where people were like, you know, every set now, the logo for every set is just the name of the set and Beleren. Maybe sometimes they're different colors or whatever, but it's just the name of the set and Beleren. Back in the day, we would get entire treatments. Go look up Ravnica City of Guilds. Like there was an entire like look and feel to the logo, to the sort of the brand of the set. And I miss the hell out of that because there's just not a lot of creativity if it's set to Beleren.
Right.
Shop around some colors, you know, Bob's your uncle, whatever. Like, here we are. Like, I mean, I want something more useful. Yes, I love that phrase, and I've learned how to use it over the past year.
You've used it like 2 or 3 times. I've never heard it before. Okay.
Oh, it's terrific. It means everything's great. Like, everything's good and everything's sorted. And, you know, you did this, you attacked for 5, and Bob's your uncle. So...
You still got me saying in front of God and everybody.
In front of God and everybody, I'll tell you what.
I was on a work call when I said that.
That's amazing. But someone had said, look, would it be possible to request more varied looking logos like the sets pre-Dominaria? And he responded, you'll be happy to know that upcoming Premier sets logos won't all be Beleren.
Right. Well, you can tell that from the when they premiered what next year's schedule looks like Kaldheim and Strixhaven, both aren't Beleren.
That's true.
So, I mean, those might just be the title screens, but I'm glad to see them, you know, trying some new things.
Yeah, that's crazy. Let's see here. Last little bits before we round down here. The Commander's Quarters. These are the guy who decided to
to step in it.
Make his own commander format.
He was the villain a couple weeks ago.
He was the villain a couple weeks ago, and he's like, you know what? That kind of maybe soured things for a minute, so he passed on his preview, whatever. Cool. Something, random preview drama.
Well, it was important because people are still, there are some people who feel like he hasn't quite made amends from the Captain debacle, and so when Wizards posted their initial list of content creators who were getting Commander preview cards, there were some people that were like, wait a minute, like, this guy created all this fuss, and he, made the RC feel bad or the CAG feel bad, and like, how is this happening? And then all of a sudden his name wasn't on the list, and they started telling and they started spreading it that Wizards took him off the list. And so he was like, wait a minute, he's like, I just want to clear the air here that, Wizards did not remove me. I declined the preview card because it did not feel right to accept one given my recent criticisms of Wizards. And so, I appreciate the transparency, and I'm glad that he said something, and I'm still a fan.
Yeah, I mean, I'm still a fan too. Yeah. Look, people step in it sometimes. We aren't our worst mistakes.
No,
and this was a good. This was an honorable thing to do. And be like, look, it's not cool for me to take bluster away from everything else. So I'll step away for this one. I hope he gets one in the future when things are quieting down.
Yeah. Yep. As we move on with more and more Magic cards. Let's see here. So, do you guys want to touch on any splash damage? Do you feel strongly?
The Twitch thing. We talked a little bit last week about how Twitch kind of went through and started giving out these claims for people who were supposedly using music they weren't supposed to, and it's been difficult to watch this thing keep going because Amazonia in particular, if you don't follow her, you should be, has really been detailing her findings in all of this, and just how like a lot of things Twitch does, it doesn't appear that there was ever like a plan. There was an actual factual musician, like I think he's got a blue check on Twitter, in a band, makes his music. He got hit with a claim for playing his own music on his own stream, and so it's just like there's just no rhyme or reason here. There's no plan. They can't tell you how this happened. Like it just keeps getting messier and messier, and it's a shame because this is, like we said, this would be like someone telling you have to burn photo albums, or this is your income. They're now going back and just getting rid of clips and getting rid of other things, and so it's a shame, and I definitely feel for the streamers that are affected by this.
Yeah, and someone mentions, it was purely automated is what I think. And I agree with that, but it's the fact that it's automated and not really planned or explained as what's going to happen and when and how it could impact them and what this new system means. All this type of stuff that sort of hindsight 2020, you're like, why didn't we do any of those things? Yeah. Why didn't they do any of those things? Yep. And they didn't. And here we are. Yeah. And it's like, it's really hurting people at this point, like actually financially hurting people.
Like it makes people scared to be like, can I sing on stream? Can I play a game that even has music? Is that going to get in trouble? When you don't know what the rules are, you don't know how to follow them. And that makes it really hard to do your thing.
Right, and they're like, we got Twitch soundtrack now, and it's like, okay, we got like 7 songs or something, and we appreciate that.
Just play them on a loop.
Yeah.
Seriously.
It's like when
I love, though, I think, out of all of this, though, I think Caleb Durward is still playing new music. He's like, you know what?
Good.
We're going down without a fight.
Yeah, I was going to say, if you're going to go down with the ship, right? Like, we're going to play the music we like to listen to regardless. Yeah. I like that attitude.
Very nice. All right. So we turn the corner here to the finisher. After 2 weeks of multiple health screens and asking everyone to quarantine, I surprised my inner circle with a trip to a private island where we could pretend things were normal just for a brief moment in time. 2020's second most important 40th birthday, after mine, of course, was Kim Kardashian West's, who brought her closest friends and family, and also some of her not closest friends and family, to an actual private island. We all know that it's a perfectly normal thing to create a hyperthermic bubble, keeping the disease from infecting your inner circle like some kind of Bond villain. So tell me, what's your highfalutin, money-grubbing, fancy-pantsin', Dunkin' party plan for your next B-Day, Erin?
All right, well, after 2 weeks of multiple health screens and asking everyone to quarantine, as my camera impression, I surprised my closest inner circle with a trip to Ogrotha. That's right, the home plane of homelands. We're going to do an Anava pub crawl, a Sengir sing-along, and then when we wrap up, we will leave and never speak of it again for 25 years.
That's right.
Yeah.
Just zip that up.
Yep.
Reuben?
Well, after 2 weeks of multiple health screens and asking everyone to quarantine, I surprised my closest inner circle with a trip to Innistrad.
Oh.
Beautiful, stunning views, epic, expansive vistas, and of course, a population to undie for.
Oh, yeah. But look, after 2 weeks of multiple health screens and asking everyone to quarantine, I surprised my closest inner circle with a trip to Eldraine. It has everything I want in a vacay destiny. Stately castle tours, fairy tale glen hiking, and of course 3/3 elks as far as the eye can see. Hey, there's an elk. Hey, look over there. There's an elk.
I thought we'd escaped all the elks.
Hey, look, there's an elk. Yeah. Everything's an elk. We're all elks. Then we turn into elks, and then and then we're done. Mm-hmm. That's how it ends. All right. So that ends another live episode of Magic Mike's. Thanks for joining us here to discuss all things magic. Thank you, Erin.
Thank you for having me.
Oh my God, you guys, Reuben, thanks for being here.
I'm not here anymore.
You have
You're
to
doing
get the
this.
vocal. You gotta really.
All right.
Am I teaching you how to do vocals? Are we doing this?
Are we trying to teach the?
Hold on. I gotta go. Thanks.
I find it helps if you look far. Like if you look distant, it translates. Like, oh my God, you can't look directly at someone. You gotta really lean into it.
We've been doing this 5 years. All right. Lordy, we move on to our final slide. I want to thank our sponsor, CoolStuffInc.com, our co-sponsor, CardHoarder.com, my co-hosts, Aaron Campbell and Reuben Bressler, you guys for watching and listening, and hope you support us at Patreon.com/MagicMikes. Please follow, like, tweet, favorite, share, subscribe to everything social that tells people we exist. Catch us online on our Discord, Twitch.tv at Magic Mikes, our Twitter at Magic Mikes Cast, our Magic Mikes subreddit, and like the Magic Mikes page on Facebook. Talk to us privately at MagicMikesPodcast@gmail.com. Follow the audio-only podcast at MagicMikesPodcast.libsyn.com, or find us on iTunes or Spotify, or just join us here next week. Same time, same place for another episode of Magic Mikes. Good night, everybody.